Ryan Carter, a successful tech CEO in bustling Miami, never expected the past to catch up with him at a bus station. But when he sees an 11-year-old boy selling lottery tickets, blonde hair, blue eyes, just like his own, his world stops. The boy's name is Oliver, and when Oliver pulls out an old Polaroid of his mother with Ryan, everything changes. Haunted by a romance he believed ended in quiet adoption, Ryan realizes Oliver might be his son, the one he never got to raise. As they sit on a bench under flickering lights, Oliver's stories of surviving alone pierce Ryan's carefully guarded heart. Unable to walk away, Ryan acts fast, getting Oliver medical care, a warm hotel room, and a DNA test. The result? Unmistakable. But the hardest part isn't science. It's trust. Oliver doesn't know how to believe in comfort, in promises, or in fathers who appear out of nowhere. Will Ryan earn his son's trust, or will the ghosts of silence and fear win? Watch this emotional journey of lost time, new beginnings, and the power of a handwritten adventure book that just might heal two broken hearts. Subscribe to see this heartfelt story unfold. The Miami skyline pulsed in the distance, glass towers shimmering beneath the late afternoon sun. At the top floor of a smart glass building sat Ryan Carter, 38, sharp-jawed, golden-haired, blue-eyed, and utterly alone. His corner office buzzed with silence. He stood by the window, fingers resting on the cold frame, watching people flood the sidewalks below. He had built Carter Technologies from a garage to global. But today, like every day, he couldn't shake the weight in his chest. A knock interrupted. "Mr. Carter, your 5:30 meeting canceled," his assistant said from the doorway. "You've got an hour until the downtown client pickup." "Thanks, Hannah," he murmured, eyes still fixed outside. "I'll head out early." Traffic was thick. His black SUV crawled along the expressway toward the bus terminal, where the client insisted they meet. Odd, but Ryan didn't question it. He arrived just past 6. The terminal buzzed with noise, honking buses, shouting vendors, echoing footsteps. He adjusted his blazer and stepped out, scanning the crowd for the client's rep. But then, lottery tickets, only $1. Lucky ones left. The voice cut through the crowd. It was young. Ryan turned. A boy, maybe 11, stood by the trash bins, waving a stack of scratch-offs. Blonde hair, piercing blue eyes. Too familiar. Too close to home. His heart jolted. The boy's clothes were worn. His shoes were too tight. But those eyes, they were his. Ryan stepped closer, slow. The boy noticed and hesitated. "Want one, sir?" Ryan crouched to his level. "What's your name?" "Oliver," the boy replied, guarded. Ryan blinked. The name hit like a wave. Years ago, in college, his girlfriend had whispered, "If it's a boy, I'll call him Oliver." He had laughed then. Young, naive, not ready. They split. She disappeared. Looked just like him. Ryan's breath caught. "Where's your mom?" "Gone," Oliver said simply. "I sell tickets. Sleep near gate 12. I'm fast. Nobody bothers me." Something cracked in Ryan. Oliver dug into his coat pocket and pulled out a folded Polaroid. This was hers, he said, offering it with small, dirt-streaked fingers. Ryan unfolded it. The photo was faded, but unmistakable. It was him, 20-something, arm around his college girlfriend, outside a bookstore. The corner was smudged, but the ink still read Summer 2011. He staggered back a step. "Where did you get this?" "She said it was important. I carry it. Makes me feel like I still got someone." Ryan crouched again, heart hammering. "Oliver, do you know who that man is?" The boy looked at the picture. "No, but Mom said he was kind once." Ryan's voice cracked. "That's me." Oliver's eyes narrowed. "You knew her?" Ryan nodded slowly, afraid to breathe. I might be your dad." Silence fell. The noise of the terminal faded. Oliver's lip trembled. "But why didn't you come for me?" Ryan swallowed hard. I didn't know, I swear. Oliver looked away. That's what they all say. Ryan reached out gently. Come with me. Just for tonight. I'll get you food. A place to sleep. You don't have to trust me yet. Just let me try. The boy hesitated, then nodded once. Okay. Ryan stood and offered his hand. Oliver took it. His grip was small, but strong. As they walked toward the car, Ryan looked down at the Polaroid still clutched in his other hand. A frozen moment from a life that had slipped away. But maybe, just maybe, it wasn't too late. The hotel lobby buzzed with quiet movement as Ryan held the elevator door open, his eyes flicking between the polished marble floors and the small boy standing beside him. Oliver gripped the worn strap of his backpack tightly, his expression unreadable. Inside the elevator, Ryan tried to smile. Top floor, pretty decent view. Oliver didn't respond. He stared at the buttons like they were coded. Messages. When the elevator opened to the penthouse suite, Ryan motioned him in. The room was all sleek wood, soft lights, and floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked downtown Miami. You hungry? Ryan asked, setting the Polaroid photo gently on the nightstand. It glowed under the lamp like a ghost. Oliver shrugged. I ate yesterday. That's not a real answer. Ryan picked up the hotel phone. You like grilled cheese? Oliver nodded once, then wandered toward the window. He pressed his hands to the glass. Looks like a toy city, he whispered. Ryan paused. That quiet awe, so human, so innocent, struck something deep. The room service arrived, and they ate in near silence. Oliver devoured 2 sandwiches and half the fries without a word. After dinner, Ryan sat on the couch, elbows on knees. Can I ask you something? Oliver glanced up. Do you remember your mom? A long pause. Then Oliver nodded slowly. She had brown hair, smelled like coffee. Told stories at night, funny ones. Ryan swallowed. She ever mentioned me? Oliver shrugged again. Just said you were important once. Then she stopped talking about you. The ache in Ryan's chest sharpened. Do you have anything else from her? Oliver unzipped his backpack, pulling out a small, folded paper. A child's drawing, faded from time. A stick-figure man in a suit. A boy beside him holding a book. Ryan stared. You drew this? Oliver nodded, kept making the same one. Thought maybe if I showed enough people, someone would know. That's me, isn't it? Maybe, Oliver said. I wasn't sure, but when I saw you today, I knew. Ryan leaned forward. Oliver, listen, I didn't know you existed. If I had, Oliver looked away. I get it. People leave. No, Ryan said firmly. I don't want to leave. Not now. Silence stretched. Then Oliver spoke, voice quieter. You're rich, right? Ryan blinked. Yeah, I guess so. Does that mean I'll have to go to some fancy place now? Some place with rules? Ryan frowned. No, you'll stay with me tonight. Then we'll figure it out together. Oliver's gaze dropped to the drawing in his hand. You really want that? Ryan reached out, touching the edge of the paper. More than anything. Outside, the lights of the city pulsed softly against the dark. Later, as Oliver fell asleep curled on the couch beneath a hotel blanket, Ryan sat at the desk and pulled out his laptop. His fingers hovered, then typed a message to his lawyer. Subject, immediate request, DNA test. Minor custody process. He hesitated before clicking send. Then he turned back to the couch. Oliver's backpack sat nearby, half open. Peeking out was a tattered copy of Treasure Island. Ryan smiled faintly, remembering his own childhood obsession with pirates. He placed the child's drawing gently next to the Polaroid on the nightstand. 2 fragile symbols, one past, one present. A knock on the door startled him. The hotel manager stepped in. Mr. Carter, everything okay? Ryan nodded. Yeah, just helping someone find their way home. As the door clicked shut, Ryan looked again at the sleeping boy, and for the first time in years, the silence didn't feel so empty. Morning light filtered through the hotel curtains, soft and golden. Ryan stood by the window, sipping coffee, watching the city wake beneath him. Behind him, Oliver stirred on the couch, tangled in a white blanket. "Hey," Ryan said gently. "You sleep okay?" Oliver blinked at him, then nodded slowly. "Better than the station benches." Ryan smiled faintly. "I figured." He set the coffee down. "I've got something to show you." He walked to the table and picked up the old Polaroid, the one Oliver had given him. "You said your mom gave this to you, right?" "Yeah," Oliver replied, rubbing his eyes, "said it was all she had left from someone who used to matter." Ryan's voice softened. "That someone was me." Oliver stared. "So you really knew her?" Ryan sat beside him. "We were together, a long time ago. I never knew about you." "She never told me." Oliver looked down. "She got sick. I was with her in the shelter before she didn't wake up." The words hit Ryan like a punch. "She gave me that photo, said to find the man in the suit." Oliver continued, voice tight. "She said he had a good heart once." Ryan's throat closed. "I'm so sorry you went through all that alone." "I wasn't always alone," Oliver mumbled. "Foster homes didn't last. Some nice, some not." Ryan reached into his briefcase and pulled out something wrapped in tissue and hold. "Leather-bound book. I used to read this when I was your age. It's full of adventure, pirates, treasure, codes." Oliver's eyes lit up. "Treasure Island?" Ryan nodded. "Same one you have in your bag. Thought you might like a better copy." The boy took it, fingers brushing the cover with care. "I'll keep it safe," he said. "It's yours," Ryan replied, "for real this time." Suddenly the room phone rang. Ryan answered. "Yes, sir, your appointment with the lawyer is confirmed, 10:30. He'll meet you in the lobby. Thank you." Turned to Oliver. "We've got to go downstairs soon. I want to talk to someone about making sure you're okay." Oliver's expression shifted. "You mean like a caseworker?" Ryan hesitated. "No, a lawyer, to help us figure out how to make things right. I'd like to know for sure that you're my son." Oliver looked away. "What if I'm not?" "Then I still won't walk away," Ryan said. "But if you are, we've already lost enough time." The elevator ride was quiet. Down in the lobby, a man in a charcoal suit greeted them. "Mr. Carter," the man said, shaking hands. "I'm Daniel Reeves, family law." Oliver stood close to Ryan, silent. Reeves glanced at the boy, then back at Ryan. "We'll start with a DNA kit. It's fast and accurate. Results in a few days." Oliver looked up. "Does it hurt?" "Not at all," Ryan said, kneeling beside him. "Just a cheek swab, like a Q-tip." The boy nodded reluctantly. Reeves opened a kit and guided them through it. When it was done, Oliver slid the drawing back into his backpack. Reeves finished the paperwork. "Once results come in, we can talk about next steps. Custody, legal guardianship, whatever you want to pursue." Ryan stood. "I want him safe, and with me." Oliver didn't speak, but he didn't let go of Ryan's hand either. Outside, the sun blazed against the pavement as they stepped into a waiting car. Back at the hotel, Ryan gave Oliver his tablet, preloaded with art apps and books. "I thought you might want to draw," Ryan said. Oliver blinked. "I used to draw on napkins, but I never had colors like this." He opened the app and began sketching quickly. Ryan watched quietly. "What are you drawing?" Oliver turned the screen. It was two figures again, but this time the boy was smiling. The man wasn't just standing still. He was kneeling, arms open. "You," Oliver said, "and me." Ryan stared at the drawing, heart swelling. For the first time, the past didn't just hurt. It offered hope. The quiet hum of the hotel's central air blended with the scratch of a stylus on glass. Oliver sat cross-legged on the couch, his brows furrowed in concentration. On the tablet screen, a forest took shape, bold trees, a boy with a backpack, and a golden-haired man holding a compass. Ryan leaned against the doorframe, watching silently. "You've got talent," he said softly. Oliver looked up. "I like making things up. It's easier than real stuff." Ryan crossed the room, sitting beside him. "What's this one called?" "The Lost Path." He gets separated from the group, but he finds his way using stories his dad used to tell him. Ryan's breath caught. That's beautiful. Oliver looked away. Just made it up. A chime echoed from Ryan's phone. He checked it, then stood. The investigator just called. He found something about your mom. Oliver froze. Is it bad? Ryan sat again. She didn't abandon you. She left you in temporary foster care because she was sick. She was afraid if she told me, I'd choose work over you both. Oliver's voice wavered. She always said Rich. People don't stick around. Ryan's face tightened. She was wrong. I would have come. I didn't know. There was a long pause. Then Oliver whispered, she said you had a kind voice. You do. Ryan blinked hard. Thank you. Later that afternoon, Ryan took Oliver to a nearby park. Not far. Just a small green space tucked between glass towers. Oliver ran ahead, climbing the low jungle gym. Ryan sat on a bench, watching. His phone buzzed again. This time it was a text. DNA results. 99.9% match. Oliver is your biological son. Ryan stared at the words, his hand trembling. Hey. He looked up. Oliver stood near the sandbox, holding something. I found a coin, the boy called. It's got a boat on it. Ryan walked over. It was a rusty token, probably from an old arcade. But Oliver grinned like it was buried treasure. Can I keep it? Of course, Ryan said. Let's call it your lucky charm. Oliver tucked it in his pocket. Want to build a fort? Ryan nodded. You lead. I'll follow. They spent an hour stacking sticks and leaves beneath a tree. Laughter came easier than it had all week. When they returned to the hotel, Ryan tucked Oliver in. The boy looked sleepy, eyes half closed. Are you going to tell someone now? That I'm yours? Ryan sat beside the bed. Yeah, tomorrow. We'll talk to the lawyer again. Oliver hesitated. If they take me away, I'll still remember this. No one's taking you, Ryan said firmly. You're staying with me. We're a team now. Oliver's eyes fluttered shut. Okay. Later that night, Ryan stood at the window, phone to his ear. Daniel, he said quietly, we got the results. He's mine. I want full guardianship. Understood, the lawyer replied. We'll start the paperwork, but be aware, because he was in foster care, social services may ask questions. We'll need to prove stability. Ryan glanced back at the sleeping boy. I'll give them whatever they need, he said. He's not going back. On the nightstand, the tablet still glowed faintly. A new drawing had been saved. It was of the park, the stick fort beneath the tree. Two figures sat inside it, one small, one tall. Above them, Oliver had drawn a sign in shaky letters. Adventure Team HQ. Ryan smiled. And for the first time since that Polaroid appeared, he felt something shift. Like maybe, just maybe, he wasn't lost anymore either. The next morning, Ryan stood in the penthouse kitchen, nervously arranging plates, pancakes, berries, syrup on the side. He barely cooked, but today he wanted it to feel real. Smells like a cartoon, Oliver said, stepping in with messy hair and sleepy eyes. Ryan laughed. That's the goal. I watched too many Saturday morning shows growing up. Oliver sat down slowly. Is this gonna be every day? Ryan hesitated. If you want it to be. The boy picked up a fork but didn't eat. Every place I stayed, they were nice at first. Then it got weird. Or they moved. Or they didn't want boys who had nightmares. Ryan's heart sank. I'm not going anywhere, Oliver. Not again. Oliver looked up. Even if I mess up. Ryan walked over, crouched next to him. Especially if you mess up. A soft silence fell between them. Then Oliver reached into his hoodie pocket. He pulled out the rusty coin from the park. I'm keeping this forever. For luck. For staying. Ryan smiled, gently closing the boy's hand around it. Good. We're building something here, piece by piece. Later that afternoon, Ryan took Oliver to a bookstore near Coral Gables. A cozy place with hardwood floors and shelves that stretched to the ceiling. I used to come here in college, Ryan said, before tech and stress took over. Oliver wandered the aisles, eyes wide. They let you read as long as you want. Yup, and you can take some home today too. They picked out 3 books, one on myths, one graphic novel, and one blank journal. What's this for? Oliver asked, holding up the empty journal. Your stories, Ryan replied. Your version of the world. Back at the hotel, Oliver wrote for an hour, without stopping. Then held the journal up. Look what I made, Dad. The words stopped Ryan in his tracks. Dad. He walked over, took the journal carefully. On the first page was a drawing of a boy and a man with matching hair. The boy held a pen. The man held a shield. At the bottom, it read, Chapter 1, He Stayed. Ryan blinked hard, pulling the boy into a quiet hug. Hey, came a voice from the door. It was Daniel, the lawyer. Sorry to interrupt, but we've got news. Ryan have to go through now. To make sure we can stay together. Oliver didn't look up. Like a test? Kind of, but we'll pass, together. That night, Oliver slipped the journal onto Ryan's pillow. Inside was a new drawing. This time it was a courtroom. But the judge was holding a book labeled Adventure Team Rules. Ryan laughed quietly. On the last page, a small caption. Even heroes go through trials. As the city lights flickered beyond the windows, Ryan realized something. This wasn't just about finding a son. It was about becoming the kind of man that son could believe in. And no matter how long it took, he wasn't backing down. A soft breeze moved through the open window of the hotel suite as Ryan reviewed a folder from the investigator. Paper clipped to the front was a worn file labeled Melissa Grant. Oliver sat cross-legged on the carpet, building something out of colored pencils, rubber bands, and paper. It's a trapdoor, he explained. Like in the stories. Ryan forced a smile. Clever, just don't use it on hotel staff. Oliver grinned, then looked up. Did they find out more about Mom? Ryan nodded slowly. Yeah, they did. He took a breath and sat on the floor beside the boy, placing the file between them. Your mom. She tried to reach out once. She mailed a letter to my old apartment, but I'd already moved. I never got it. Oliver's face went still. She did? Ryan opened the file, revealing a copy of the letter. Never delivered, never opened. She wrote about you. Said you were smart. Said you liked drawing at age 4. Oliver touched the page with quiet fingers. She kept me, even when it was hard. Ryan nodded. She didn't want to lose you, but she got sick. She was scared. No family, no help. She thought she was protecting you. Oliver's voice cracked. She died alone. Ryan placed a hand gently on the boy's shoulder. But she didn't give up. She left behind love, and you carried it all this way. A knock at the door startled them. Ryan opened it to find Daniel again, this time with a woman in a navy jacket. Child Services. This is Miss Tessa Monroe, Daniel said. She's here for the home assessment. Ryan extended a hand. We're staying here temporarily, but we've already begun setting up my apartment for Oliver. Ms. Monroe scanned the suite. Can I speak to Oliver alone for a moment? Ryan looked at Oliver. Only if you're okay with it. The boy stood, head high. I'm fine. They moved to the small corner nook by the windows. Ryan stood near the door. Arms folded. Tessa leaned in gently. Do you feel safe here, Oliver? He nodded. Safer than I felt in a long time. Do you want to stay with Mr. Carter? Oliver looked across the room. I think he wants to know me, not just keep me. Tessa scribbled in her notebook. That's a good answer. Once she was gone, Ryan sank into the couch with relief. She said I did good, Oliver announced. She liked my answer. You nailed it, Ryan said, tousling his hair. That night, as Miami's lights shimmered outside, Oliver pulled the journal from his backpack again. New chapter, he whispered. Want to hear the title? Ryan leaned in. Of course. Oliver showed him the page, a sketch of a mailbox with a sealed envelope tucked inside. On it, written in childlike block letters, the letter that almost saved us. Ryan's voice wavered. That's powerful. Oliver shrugged. I'm still figuring out the ending. Ryan hugged him gently. We've got time. Later, as the city quieted, Ryan stood alone on the balcony. He looked out at the skyline, the wind brushing his face. The letter had been a bridge between two lives, one he missed and one he was just beginning to build. He clutched the page close, heart full of something between grief and hope. Inside, Oliver slept soundly, and beside him, the journal stayed open on chapter 6, ready for more. Ryan parked in front of the high-rise, the sun casting long shadows across the sidewalk. It was time. "I thought we were just visiting," Oliver said from the back seat, hugging his backpack. Ryan turned, meeting his eyes. "Not visiting. Moving in. This is home now." The boy's expression didn't change. They rode the elevator to the 23rd floor. Ryan unlocked the door and stepped aside. "After you." Oliver walked in slowly. The apartment was modern, filled with warm wood and soft light. A shelf of books, beanbags by the windows, framed prints of storybook maps on the wall. This is for me?" Oliver whispered. Ryan nodded. "I tried to match what you like. There's art supplies in the desk, your own tablet, adventure books, and a big window to draw by." Oliver walked over to the desk and opened the top drawer. Inside was a single, framed photo, Melissa, holding baby Oliver, smiling at the camera. "I found it in the investigator's file," Ryan said softly. "I thought you should have it." Oliver held it gently. "She looks happy here." "She loved you," Ryan said, "more than anything." Oliver set the photo beside his tablet and sat on the rug. Grinned. "Absolutely." They used couch cushions and blankets. Within minutes, the living room had transformed into a fortress. Oliver handed Ryan a piece of paper. "What's this?" Ryan asked. "Our flag," Oliver said. "We need one for the adventure team." It was a crayon drawing, 2 swords crossed over a heart. Ryan pinned it to the cushion wall. But the joy faded that evening when the doorbell rang. Daniel stood in the hallway, his expression tense. "Ryan," he said, lowering his voice, "we've got a complication." Ryan stepped outside, closing the door behind him. "There's a holdup with the guardianship," Daniel said, "and additional interviews." Inside, Oliver peeked through the crack in the door. He'd heard enough. Later, Ryan found him curled in the reading nook, drawing again. "Hey," Ryan said gently, "want to talk about it?" Oliver shook his head. "They don't want me here, do they?" Ryan sat beside him. "That's not true. Some people just don't understand yet, but we'll prove them wrong. Together." Oliver held up the drawing. This time, it showed a knight shielding a small boy from arrows. One arrow had the word "court" written on it. Another said, "work." Ryan stared at it, heart aching. "You drew me as a knight. You don't run," Oliver said, "even when it's hard." Ryan leaned in. "Neither do you." That night, Oliver taped the flag to the fridge. "This way," he said, "if we get scared, we remember what we're fighting for." Ryan smiled through the heaviness in his chest. No matter what came next, this boy, this brave, thoughtful boy, had already claimed a piece of his heart, and he would fight for him, for their new home, for every story still waiting to be written. The morning light filtered into the apartment through slanted blinds. Ryan stood in front of the mirror, adjusting his tie. Behind him, Oliver sat at the kitchen island, still in pajamas, quietly pushing scrambled eggs around his plate. "You okay, bud?" Ryan asked, grabbing his keys. Oliver shrugged. "You're leaving again?" Ryan paused. "Just a board meeting. Few hours. I'll be back by lunch." Oliver didn't respond. Ryan set the keys down. "Want to come with me? There's a corner in the office where you can draw. Big windows. Quiet." Oliver shook his head. "It's fine. You've got CEO stuff." Ryan studied his son's face, calm on the surface, but the sadness was there, just beneath. He walked over, kneeling next to him. "Hey, this is all new, I know. And I know I've lived in a world where time gets eaten by meetings and calls and people in suits." Oliver looked up. "But you?" Ryan said, "You come first now, always. If you ever feel like I'm drifting, pull me back." Oliver nodded slowly. "Okay." Ryan squeezed his shoulder. I'll leave my phone on. Call me for anything, even if you just want to tell me a joke. After he left, the apartment felt too big. Oliver sat at the kitchen table, flipping through his journal. He stopped on the night drawing, then turned to a blank page. This time, he drew a tall office building. At the top floor, a man sat behind a desk. But next to the desk was a smaller chair, a boy holding a book. Below he wrote, "Sometimes heroes work in towers." Hours passed. Ryan didn't call. At noon, Oliver opened the fridge and saw the flag still taped there, the one with the heart and crossed swords. He peeled it off, folded it carefully, and slipped it into his hoodie. Then he did something unexpected. He left the apartment. The doorman gave him a gentle smile. "Going somewhere, kiddo?" "To my dad's work," Oliver said simply. "I want to visit." He had memorized the address. It wasn't far. 4 blocks. Outside, the Miami streets pulsed with sound. Cars, music, voices. Oliver gripped the folded flag in one hand and the elevator button in the other when he arrived at Carter Technologies. The receptionist blinked. "Can I help you?" Oliver nodded. "I'm here to see Ryan Carter." Her eyes widened. "And you are?" He hesitated. "His son." That got the attention of every person in the lobby. She made a call. Within minutes, Ryan appeared, suit jacket half open, phone still in hand. "Oliver?" he said, shocked. "What are you?" "I missed you," Oliver interrupted. "And you said I could come if I wanted." Ryan dropped the phone into his pocket and rushed forward. "Of course you can." The lobby had fallen into silence. All eyes on them. Ryan knelt beside his son. "You okay?" Oliver handed him the folded flag. "I brought this. Thought you might forget." Ryan opened it slowly. The same heart, the same crossed swords. He looked at the boy, heart full. "I could never forget." Later, in his private office, Ryan canceled the rest of his day. He and Oliver built a pillow fort in the corner, using couch cushions and 2 unused suits from the coat rack. One of the executives peeked in. "Sir, the meeting. Rescheduled," Ryan said firmly. "I'm with my son." Oliver looked up from his drawing. "Hey, Dad." "Yeah? Can we put our flag on your window?" Ryan smiled. "We'll hang it high." And they did, taped right against the glass, facing the whole city, because no matter how tall the tower, the heart behind the glass would always beat for one small boy. The next day, sunlight poured through the tall windows of Ryan's apartment, casting soft shadows across the hardwood floor. Oliver sat cross-legged in the corner, flipping through one of the new books Ryan had bought him, Legends of the Sea. Ryan entered carrying 2 bowls of cereal. "Let me guess. You're reading about the Kraken again." Oliver looked up, grinning. "Pirates and sea monsters are cooler than boardrooms." Ryan chuckled. "Can't argue with that." They sat on the couch, eating in companionable silence. Then Ryan reached for a folder resting on the coffee table. "I've been thinking," he said, sliding the folder toward Oliver. "You love stories. You love drawing. So I've enrolled you in an arts academy. Small class sizes. They focus on creative kids." Oliver Spoon paused midair. "Like a real school?" Ryan nodded. "One where you won't just learn math and reading, but where your drawings mean something." The boy looked unsure. "What if they don't like me?" Ryan leaned closer. "They'll love you, but if they don't, that's on them, not you." Oliver smiled faintly. "Do I get a notebook just for that school?" "You'll get 5, Ryan said. "All blank, waiting for your stories." Later that afternoon, they visited the school, Sunrise Arts Academy. It sat in a quiet neighborhood, a renovated brick building with colorful murals painted across its walls. Oliver clutched the folder Ryan had given him as they walked past the main gate. Inside, the director, Miss Harper, greeted them warmly. "We're excited to meet Oliver. We reviewed his sketches. He's gifted." Oliver looked up, stunned. "You saw my stuff?" Ryan smiled. "Told you they'd love it." After the meeting, Ms. Harper gave them a short tour. There was a library full of beanbags, an outdoor storytelling garden, and an animation lab. Students work on their own comic strips, she explained. We help them bring their imaginations to life. Oliver turned to Ryan, eyes wide. Can I start tomorrow? Absolutely. That night, back at the apartment, Oliver taped a new drawing to his bedroom door. It showed a rocket ship, shaped like a pencil, flying over a castle made of books. At the bottom, it read, Chapter 9, The New Beginning. Ryan knocked softly. Big day tomorrow. Oliver nodded. I picked my favorite hoodie, the blue one, for luck. Ryan hesitated. Hey, I want to ask you something important. Oliver tilted his head. What is it? Ryan stepped in and sat at the edge of the bed. You've been through a lot. Moving, courts, people asking questions. And I know I can't fix the past. But I want to ask, do you feel like you belong here? With me? Oliver blinked. You mean like a real family? Ryan nodded slowly. The boy reached into his pillowcase and pulled out the worn flag, the heart and crossed swords. He held it up. I bring this when I sleep. Makes me feel like I'm still on the team. Ryan swallowed, the lump rising in his throat. You don't have to ask if I belong, Oliver said. You stayed, that's the answer. Ryan pulled him into a hug. Thank you for trusting me. As Oliver drifted to sleep, Ryan sat alone in the living room, flipping through the drawings in Oliver's journal. Each one told a story. But more than that, they told their story. From a lonely bus station to a blanket fort in a glass tower, from silence to belonging. And as Ryan looked out at the city lights, one truth echoed louder than the rest. This wasn't the end of a chapter. It was the start of something neither of them had ever known, home. The next morning, the apartment was buzzing with quiet energy. Ryan adjusted Oliver's hoodie and handed him a packed lunch. You've got sandwiches, apple slices, and your journal. You good? Oliver nodded, then paused. What if they think I'm weird? Ryan crouched beside him. Then they're missing out. Just be you, okay? That's more than enough. At the front door, Oliver turned back. Will you be here when I get back? Right here, Ryan promised. Waiting with pancakes if you want. But by late afternoon, that promise got harder to keep. The office had called with an emergency. A product demo had crashed. Investors were flying in, and Ryan's inbox was on fire. He tried to push back meetings, but tension tightened around his day like a noose. At 4:15, he checked the time and cursed under his breath. Push everything, he told his assistant. I have to be somewhere. Outside the school, Oliver stood near the entrance, arms folded, backpack drooping. Ryan pulled up, heart pounding. I'm sorry, bud, I'm late. Oliver climbed in silently. The ride home was quiet. Back at the apartment, Ryan tried to break the ice. So, how was it? Oliver set his bag down. Fine. You want to talk about it? Oliver shrugged. They gave me stuff. But it's all new. The other kids already have friends. And I don't know how to be part of something that doesn't feel real yet. Ryan sat beside him. I get that. I felt that way too. Like you're standing outside a window, watching the party happen inside. Oliver looked up. Yeah. Ryan held up a hand. Want to show me what you made? Oliver pulled out a folded page from his notebook. On it, he'd drawn a boy in a castle tower, alone. Windows closed. Below the words, Chapter 10, The New Place But Not Yet Home. Ryan exhaled slowly. That's honest and really brave. Oliver looked down. Sometimes I think, what if this isn't forever? What if something happens and I have to leave again? Ryan put a hand on his shoulder. I know why you'd feel that way. But I'm not going anywhere. Even if I mess up. Even if I'm late. I'll keep showing up. That's my promise. That evening, Ryan canceled every remaining meeting. He made hot chocolate, lit a candle, and pulled 2 blankets onto the couch. Movie night? He offered. Oliver nodded. Can we draw too? Ryan smiled. Absolutely. They sat side by side, watching a movie and sketching. At one point, Oliver leaned into him and whispered, I made something for you. He unfolded a drawing. It showed two towers, one glass and shiny, one old and stone. A rope bridge connected them. On it, a boy held one end of the flag, and the man held the other. Underneath it read, "If I fall, you'll catch me, right?" Ryan wrapped an arm around him. Every time. Later that night, Ryan stood at the window, the drawing resting on the table behind him. He stared out at the Miami skyline, knowing the battle wasn't over. Trust didn't come with a signature. It came in moments, missed pickups, quiet doubts, and whispered questions. But now he had something more powerful than plans or titles. He had a boy, holding a flag, watching to see if he'd really stay. And Ryan would keep proving it, one day, one promise, one drawing at a time. A steady rain tapped against the apartment windows as Ryan stirred a pot of spaghetti on the stove. The smell of garlic and basil filled the room. Oliver sat at the kitchen island, scribbling furiously in his notebook. "I'm writing a story," he said without looking up. "Yeah?" Ryan asked. "What's it about?" "A kid who's afraid to trust people, so he builds a robot that tells him when someone's lying." Ryan smiled. "That sounds genius. What's the robot called?" "Truthbot. But it breaks whenever the kid starts to believe someone without using it." Ryan paused, ladle in hand. "So, the real test isn't the robot?" Oliver nodded. "It's the heart." Dinner was quiet but warm. Afterward, Ryan cleared the plates and handed Oliver a new hoodie, dark blue, with a stitched compass on the sleeve. "It's from a store near the office," Ryan said. "Figured every explorer needs gear." Oliver slipped it on. "Feels like armor." Just as they settled in for their nightly drawing session, Ryan's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen. It was Daniel. Ryan excused himself, stepping into the hallway. "Talk to me," he said. Daniel's voice was tense. "We've got trouble. A tech blog picked up your custody case. Someone leaked it. Headline says, 'Tech CEO claims long-lost son,' while company questions his focus." Ryan felt the air leave the room. "Who leaked it?" "No idea yet. But you need to get ahead of this. Investors are watching." Ryan returned to the living room, face pale. Oliver looked up. "Something bad?" Ryan sat beside him. "Some people are talking about us, about how I'm your dad, about whether I can still run a company and be a real father." Oliver looked down. "Are they going to take me away?" Ryan's voice was firm. "No, not ever, but you're scared," Oliver whispered. "I can tell." Ryan nodded. "I am, not of being your dad, but of the world thinking love is a weakness." Oliver reached into his backpack and pulled out a folded page. It was a new comic strip. In it, a man stood on a stage. Behind him, people whispered. But in front of him, a boy held up a sign that said, "He's my hero, even if he's scared." Ryan stared at it. "You made this, just now?" "I had it started before," Oliver said. "Didn't know if I'd ever finish it." Ryan took a deep breath. "I'm going to a tech conference tomorrow. Press will be there. I wasn't going to speak, but now, I think I have to." Oliver looked up. "You're going to tell them about me?" Ryan nodded. "Every part. The bus station, the stories, the drawings, the boy who built a world in the middle of chaos." Oliver whispered, "Will they listen?" "They'd better," Ryan said, "because I'm not stepping down. I'm standing up." The next morning, Oliver stood by the door, holding the compass hoodie tight around him. "You nervous?" Ryan asked. Adjusting his tie, Oliver smirked. "Only if your mic squeaks." Ryan laughed and ruffled his hair. "Wanna come?" Oliver shook his head. "You go, but take this." He handed Ryan a folded sheet of paper. Ryan unfolded it. It was a drawing. Ryan on stage, holding a microphone. Behind him, floating above the crowd, the adventure team flag. Underneath, the story that saved us. Ryan blinked hard, folding the paper gently and tucking it into his pocket. As he stepped into the elevator, he looked back one last time. Oliver stood at the apartment door, hand raised in a quiet salute. And Ryan knew, whatever waited on that stage, he wasn't facing it alone. The newsroom buzzed with quiet urgency as Ryan stepped onto the stage. The conference hall lights dimmed, and a spotlight illuminated him. Cameras clicked, microphones adjusted. He took a deep breath, the folded drawing from Oliver tucked inside his jacket pocket, a secret talisman. "Good afternoon," Ryan began, voice steady but warm. "I'm here to tell you a story not about tech or profits, but about a boy named Oliver." The audience shifted, curious. "Oliver is my son, a boy I never expected to find, standing alone at a bus station with a worn Polaroid and a heart full of hope." Ryan's eyes scanned the room, then softened. "For years I built a company thinking I was building a legacy. But the real legacy is the bond I'm building now, with Oliver." He paused, then held up a drawing. "This is from Oliver. Our flag. It's a symbol of trust, adventure, and the courage to keep going when the world says otherwise." The room was silent, captivated. Ryan continued, "But this journey hasn't been easy. The media questioned my focus. Investors doubted my commitment. People wondered if a CEO could be a father. I'm here to say, not only can I be both, I am." He looked down briefly, then back up. "Oliver taught me more about courage than any boardroom ever did." The crowd broke into applause backstage. Ryan's phone vibrated relentlessly. Texts from investors, journalists, supporters. Some skeptical, some moved. When he returned to the apartment that night, Oliver waited with a new drawing in hand. "It's us," Oliver said shyly. The picture showed two figures, one tall, one small, holding hands in front of a glowing city. Above them, the adventure team flag fluttered. "Look what I made, Dad," Oliver whispered. Ryan knelt and hugged him tightly. "You make me proud every day." Outside, rain began to fall gently against the windows. Inside, two hearts beat stronger, together against the storm. The conference room hummed with anticipation as Ryan stepped to the podium once more, this time not as a CEO defending his company, but as a father, bearing witness to a deeper truth. He adjusted the microphone and looked over the crowd, eyes lingering on the faces of journalists, investors, and activists. "Thank you for being here," Ryan began. "Today, I want to talk about something that matters beyond profits and product launches." He paused, then pulled out a small stack of papers, his prepared speech. "In the United States, over 400,000 children are currently in foster care or homeless. Too many face nights alone, without the safety or love every child deserves." He glanced down, then back up, voice steady and heartfelt. "My son, Oliver, was one of those children. Found selling lottery tickets at a bus station, clutching a faded photo and a worn-out dream." A hush fell over the room. Oliver's story is not unique, but it is a story of hope, because we, families, communities, companies, have the power to change it. Ryan's hand brushed the small drawing tucked in his jacket pocket, the adventure team flag Oliver made. "This flag is more than a symbol of our bond. It's a beacon for all children who need someone to believe in them." He took a deep breath. "I am committed to funding storytelling and arts programs for homeless and foster youth. Because every child deserves the chance to find their voice and to know they belong." Applause rippled through the crowd. After the speech, Ryan returned to the apartment. Oliver awaited with a new sketch, eyes shining with quiet pride. "This one's for the program," Oliver said, holding up a drawing of children gathered around a campfire, sharing stories beneath a sky full of stars. Ryan smiled, pulling him close. "You made this for all the kids out there." "Yeah," Oliver said softly, "for the ones who don't have a flag yet." Ryan kissed the top of his head. "We'll make sure they get one." Outside, the city lights blinked against the night sky, a silent promise of new beginnings. Inside, two hearts, once strangers, were building a legacy that would outlast any empire. The late afternoon sun spilled golden light through the apartment windows, warming the room where Ryan and Oliver sat surrounded by books, drawings, and quiet laughter. Oliver held out a small, worn notebook, its cover marked with stickers and doodles, a map to their shared journey. "Look what I made, Dad," he said softly. Ryan took the notebook carefully, flipping it open. Inside were stories, handwritten adventures of a boy and his father, battling dragons, finding lost treasures, and most of all, building a family. "I'm proud of this," Ryan whispered, voice thick. "Just like I'm proud of you." Oliver smiled, eyes shining. "It's not just a story, it's our story." Their peaceful moment was interrupted by a knock. The lawyer, Daniel, stepped in with a folder. "Good news," Daniel said, smiling. "The court granted you full custody." Ryan's breath caught. Finally. Oliver jumped up, eyes wide. "So, I'm really staying." "Forever," Ryan said, pulling him into a hug. Later, at a community center filled with children's laughter, Ryan and Oliver stood before a group of foster and homeless youth. Oliver held the microphone first. "This is our flag," he said, holding up the well-worn symbol of heart and crossed swords. "It means, no matter where you come from, you belong somewhere." Ryan added, "We're starting storytelling and art programs right here to give every kid a chance to be heard, to feel seen." A small girl in the front row raised her hand. "Can I make a flag too?" Oliver smiled wide. "Absolutely." That evening, back at the apartment, Oliver pulled out his notebook again. "This time," he said, "I'm writing the last chapter." Ryan settled beside him, brushing a stray curl from Oliver's forehead. "Let's write it together." Outside, the city pulsed with light, stories unfolding in countless homes. Inside, two hearts, once strangers, had found a forever home, and the adventure was just beginning.